Yes, good morning, guys. Let me know if the music's at a good volume here. Actually, it might sound super low. Super low for me. Well, good morning, happy Wednesday. Hopefully everyone's doing good. Got some middle of the week trading here. About 10 minutes out from the open. We'll get into some stuff we're taking a look at on the charts. Haven't really done much overnight. I might just try to find us another mix here that's not so low. Try this one. There we go. There we go. Let me know. I'm gonna turn that down a little bit. But yes, good morning, family. Let's take a quick look. As markets open here, I don't think we have anything too important for news today. Now we have Bank of Canada, interest rates. This might give a little bit of volatility if dollar pairs react hard, but I have no expectations around that. We're mostly looking at indices, gold, anyway. Let's see. Wanted to fade these spikes down. Daniel, what's going on? Christian, good morning. Eric. Yeah, these spikes down on NQ are pretty nice. I would still prefer a little lower. Honestly, I also wouldn't be surprised if we end up selling off if we push up higher one more time. We kind of did liquidate this resistance up here. The supply, whatever you want to call it. Again, we've taken some pretty nice internal liquidity. So I understand trying to fade this as some absorption, because we probably do just end up compressing and pushing higher. That would be my preferred way to trade. I would have liked us taking out again either this lone candle, this other low here would have been super nice. Did anything form down here though that we could have executed off of? And not unless you were maybe doing some inversion plays. Yeah, I just see the possibility of us. I mean, if we want to stay mostly range bound here and just play annoying. If we were going to play annoying today, we'd probably end up pushing up, taking these highs again, maybe then falling, retaking these lows into the lone candle. And we kind of just end up staying range bound by end of day. That could be the most annoying path. Be a lot of opportunity in that too, if we're prepared to take that. But otherwise, I think we have more of a possibility of maybe just re-swiping this low and then continuing our trend up. That'd be my most ideal way to play today. Don't really have anything else to analyze on this again. Push towards the lone candle would be ideal. Again, we could trade for this on targets if we get some fresh pricings at the highs with some live OBs. If we end up falling, we'll explore ideas of ending the day higher. I was looking to play this like a reaccum with no spring. Yeah, again, we could get that. See, my only problem with that is you definitely would have wanted to play down here. Again, there's some possibility that we still take this low. You guys know how I feel about pre-market lows. Not a big fan of pre-market lows. Usually we come back to take this stuff, even if it is compression, so... Again, like, we do have this little pocket of money, so it is possible, again, into the open, into 10 a.m., maybe we squeeze down here one more time. And that still kind of gives you that no spring low. I'm just thinking in, like, greedy ways that we could get involved. Obviously, this could just compress and push higher. But that doesn't really give us a way to get involved other than chasing it. And just playing super tight. Again, maybe we can just assume that some of this compression lows that are already here in the lower time frames are kind of just gonna hold. So again, like, maybe we get like a pullback here, and as it starts to bounce, we kind of just hop in that compression. I probably wouldn't put too much money behind that. I really dislike playing in the chop and like the flags and stuff like that. But hey, for some people it's their cup of tea, so yeah, so we'll see what we get there. Again, like, the higher perspective of NASDAQ, again, is that we're kind of just pushing all-time highs. Again, you could look at this recent move as like a liquidity grab. I'm really not comfortable with the absorption that happened in here, which you guys can't see. But let me get the volume more in picture there for you. Alright, a lot of sell volume into this move. Again, we pierced some structure, but closing right back above that and continuing up, we're just eating that sell pressure. So, again, more likely than not, we just go to push for all-time highs on NASDAQ. Unless, again, fundamentals step in, and again, we have NFP at the end of the week. So, again, we'll see how that develops out. The S&P, kind of in the same situation, just kind of like pushing highs here. Again, also trading away from all-time highs. I don't think lower time frames tell any different of a story. Pretty much the same story. Again, ideally, we take out these pre-market lows and maybe give us some sort of window of opportunity above this low. If not, I think we run for the long candle. I probably won't engage in selling to these levels, but we're looking at that anyway. Actually, S&P, the indicator is calling for this lone candle. I'd agree with that. I would actually even argue if it really gets some legs. You know, we always like the lowest one. Indicator not picking that one up though, because it's a few things that are happening mathematically there. Alright, let's see. Gold. Gold also looks good this morning. Still think I would prefer to stay buy side. Actually, hold on one second. I just heard banging in my house or somebody else here. Give me one sec. I'll be right back. Alright. Just gotta make sure no one's breaking anything. Even the dog is quiet, so. Yeah, gold's been pretty choppy since Asian session. Ideally, when I woke up, I really liked the fact that we took out some of these Asian session lows. I would like below here if I was gonna buy. But there was some interesting action that happened here. You had a lot of sell side absorption too. Inside of here. This was 8:30 news. Yeah, I'd still be interested in buying this. I just think either this is gonna run without me, or I would like us to take these internal lows one more time. There's really no execution model down here, so yeah. I welcome a sweep of the pre-market lows, and I'll pretty much buy anything. Assuming that everything still looks good. Alright, we'll see what we get here at the open. Oil, still not really interested in this. Did nothing yesterday. Again, I still think this just pushes up into 64.50. Yeah, I don't see why this doesn't run up to 64.50, 65. A lot of these things look the same. A lot of these did the same thing. Really choppy Asian sessions, taking like internal lows, and then just recovering. Now, let's see if we hunt some of this stuff. Alright, let's put our eyes back on indices here as we're about to open. A little lower time frames here. Bring this up. This. Alright, let's see what we get at the opening bell. Yeah, gold was nice on the absorption side for sure. Especially with the 8:30 news, with this pinned right into like the little liquidity pocket here. I wouldn't be surprised if this continues without taking it. I wouldn't be surprised if most of this stuff continues without taking it. Again, I'm looking to be kind of greedy, and I kind of want the pre-market lows taken, but if I was trading pre-market, I probably would have already been involved in some of this stuff. And I'd just be looking for a run at the open, so... if that's what we get, again, it might be another light trading day for me, man. The last 2-3 weeks have been very light. I've been looking for very specific things, and that's kind of limited my trading opportunities. But, the last few weeks have been pretty crazy for me, so... How many people here this morning? There's like 7 people here. Not that many people. Unless this is just telling me the wrong number in my back end, but either which way. Alright, let's see. We got a little spike up here at the opening bell. Like I said, if I was already in this, I would love this. Unfortunately, I have no position, so. Yeah, see, there's even like a 1 minute live will be here too. See, we would have much as rather have been in like this morning. We could have already been break even. Just off the swipe of all this internal. I really hate these types of ranges though. Like you guys know, I like internal. I don't mind taking a stab when you take internal liquidity like this and print something. My problem with it though is like, whenever I take a trade like this, I always have to plan my risk as if the trade's gonna fail, because in a situation like this, if this trade did fail, and this, you know, again, maybe it moves away a little bit, that comes back, stops you out, whatever. The reason why like I have to plan for a second trade is because if we take the external low of the range and we reset up, I'm going to take that trade again. So I can never put my full risk on like an internal setup. Because if I put my full risk on an internal setup and it doesn't work, then I'm at my max, you know, I maxed my risk for the day on that setup, and I can't take another trade. Right? If I put like my full $400, $500 at risk on a setup like that, which again, typically these days I don't do. I always plan for the second trade, possibly even the third, you know. But like if I get an external play, I'll be more willing to just put like $350, $400, $500 on that trade, because I know if my external setup fails, then I'm probably not taking another setup for the day, because it's very unlikely that it resets up. External liquidity again, like even if it stops me out and recovers, I'd just be chasing the trade anyway. So I really don't like to play internally, man. It forces me into... There's a little bit of fear involved with that, but make it sound like it's like this daunting thing. Next year, come to Detroit for Movement Weekend. That's your groove right there. I don't know if Detroit is specifically the safest place for me to be going to get like fucked up for like a music fueled weekend or week. Maybe it is, but I'll be honest, Detroit is like not on my list of places to go. No offense to Detroit, but definitely not on the top 10 places where I want to go to enjoy music. I'm not even sure if the scene is nice out there like that, but I mean, if you're saying it is. Alright, let's see, we're gonna break these highs here. Fortunate, we have no way of getting involved in this quite yet. SMP also playing the same game, but to push above some of its highs. This has no real sweep, so again, something could form up here, but I find it really unlikely. I really would prefer not to sell. Tried that yesterday and I knew it wasn't gonna work, and it didn't work, so really try not to make that same play again. Possibility here. Expect this to hold. Even if we purge that, honestly, that would be lame. But if we can play small, I don't even know if we need to risk that full low. This is still 1-3 though. We could purge under here and recover. Would be nice. Alright, yeah, Nasdaq looking to push the highs here. Dude, pre-market and Asian session have just been the money sessions. That's the thing about live streaming on a schedule kinda sucks sometimes, because if you're just gonna go, like, again, if I say I'm gonna trade every day, not until live stream, like until I go live at 9:15 until 10:30, again, like it's hard to get the market to always behave in that time frame. Sometimes the setups really do just be happening at 7 o'clock, 8 o'clock. Again, sometimes optimally for trading is 8:15, 9 o'clock at night, and you know, the night before, you get that really strong Asian session run up. That's what we had yesterday, honestly. Yesterday was like that. Alright, well, what's Monday night? Well, Monday was more like, no, hold on, what's today? Today's, might be misremembering from last week. Yeah, I think I'm misremembering from last week. Either way, Asian session and pre-market have just been the bread-winning sessions now. Can't do anything about the open just running like this. Check out US 30. I'm gonna just take your word for it. I don't like to look at the Dow and do your homework on it. I'll do my homework on it. I'm just saying, Detroit has just never been on my list of places to visit. I'll definitely look into it though. Detroit has cleaned up a lot. You'd be fine if you go. Okay. I feel like you guys have a vested interest in this knowledge, but I believe y'all. Interesting action there. Let me just check headlines. Something just popped on oil here. It's bizarre volatility. Yeah, if this ends up like being some absorption, I wouldn't be surprised if you hold this low. The only problem with this, I'd probably want to take this on a personal account because you need to run into 65 to make this worth your money. So I'm probably not going to take that on top step here, but yeah, Nasdaq stretching, that sucks. S&P stretching. Yeah, gold might be something that I hop into. Like I said, we can definitely watch these above the high for potential models. Again, if we truly think this will be a range bound day, I don't really have reason to suspect yet that it will be a range bound day. But if we're gonna come back and hunt these other lows, like the pre-market low or yesterday's afternoon low, this 2 o'clock low, we're gonna come back and hunt this for some reason. We could print a live OB up here, but I want this on the 5-minute. I'm not playing no 1-minute, 3-minute setups up here. I'm sorry. If you guys want to take that, be my guest. I'm not trusting, if I'm not fighting the trend with a 1-minute setup, I'm just not doing it. So if we get a 5-minute live OB, I'll play it, but it has to move in the first 5-10 minutes of us entering. I'm not gonna fight this. I'd rather just watch this fall and not be in it and try to get the next buy set up than to fight this again. So 5 or 15-minute live OBs only up here, and they need to react quick. I'm not playing like yesterday. We had chop. Like, where did we enter yesterday? I want to say it was around here. It was around 10 a.m. See this chop? We're not playing with this. I tell you guys all the time, like, our live OBs, they react quick. They happen quick. Like, usually if you don't get a quick reaction, it's gonna fail. That's why when we sit in a trade for 15-20 minutes, I tell you guys, like, yeah, it's probably not gonna work out. We don't exit the trade because, again, things could always work out in your favor. I've had trades that push 80-85% of my stop, 90% of my stop, and still work. So for statistical reasons, I usually let stuff ride. But we operate with the idea that it's definitely gonna stop us out. I've been here for 12 years. I mean, yeah, there's people living in Detroit, man. I'm not saying Detroit's just the most reckless place ever. But Movement Weekend, yeah, I'll look into that. I don't think I've ever heard of Movement Weekend, honestly. But I do know most cities have, like, you know, their little music week where they do their stuff. Again, I usually pop out to AZ. I usually don't frequent Miami Music Week. I try to avoid that, but let's see what we print up here, man. Let me see if S&P has broken the highs. Gold, I'm still gonna watch gold down here, man. If we print something in this area here on gold, I'm definitely gonna still be interested. Of course, if it just collapses and still takes the pre-market low, again, we have that other POI, but I'm gonna keep an eye on this. This has been sitting here for a few minutes. Don't completely hit it. Actually, I'm gonna delete this because this was an example and we're not in that trade, so I don't want people to come on here thinking that we're in that. Slim Shady lived in... you guys, man. Alright, we are getting some rejection up here. I was kind of hoping we'd close another bullish candle. Because it's just very improbable that this turns into a live OB. So, we might be sitting here for another 5-10 minutes. Obviously, the 15 minutes not gonna form something either. I mean, people that want to play the inversion play would be this. If you wanted to take this. Again, I don't know, this might be a little risky for my liking, but if you get that close... I mean, some people would maybe even consider this closed already, because the inversion, I guess, would live here. So, it's a trade you can potentially take. I'm gonna just watch this, because again, this is a setup that I don't have enough data on to fully trust myself, but you can potentially get a nice 1 to 4 there. Again, I'm gonna still wait for my 5-minute live OB setup, see if we get that. If anything, I want this to completely fail. We need to print a candle that closes up here, and then engulf it with higher volume. I'd be willing to take that, but the inversion setup is potentially there. I wouldn't say it's that great of one, though. Yeah, ideally we still push higher. The S&P, however, actually did make a live OB. So actually, we're gonna put eyes over here real quick. We're gonna see if this next 5-minute candle closes below. If that holds below, maybe we take the S&P. But the way Nasdaq is looking, I assume that we still push higher on both. But you would be technically right in saying the S&P does have one there. Gold still hasn't done anything I like. We're not in that quite yet. Actually, this. Away with something like that. I really don't like my stop by alone candle, but I feel like we don't need to risk more than that. We don't work here. Absorption, multiple candles of absorption. NQ 2 minutes left and Q's still holding. I don't know, man. I think I'll take a little stab at this gold trade. I don't like where the stop loss is. I also don't like risking more than that, though. I feel like if this does continue down, we're gonna just end up taking these lows anyway. So there's no reason for me to extend it, because I think this would get taken too. There's really no reason for me to extend that. I just wish we were reacting off this a little nicer. Well, the next 5-minute candle just open and push us down. So still not in this either, but I'm eyeing that closely. I'd be very easily convinced to hop in that. Bank of Canada news just dropped 3 minutes ago. Unchanged, right? Yeah. Is that another headline? Alright, Canada sounding the alarm on unusual volatility and inflation. I imagine that they're gonna cite tariffs with that, potentially. Yeah, actually they did in the comment beforehand. Cost pressures on inflation are contained. Yeah, so it's the same old story from the central banks, man. The central banks keep just talking about the effect that tariffs will have on inflation. I haven't really, again, not that the data isn't showcasing some of that. I think their concerns are higher than the impacts really will be. But that's just one man's opinion. Alright, gold's still just sitting there. S&P and NAS. So the S&P didn't really close below. It actually just re-engulfed that candle. Yeah, there's nothing here that I want to execute off of yet. Patience. Just want to see what dollar CAD did. Off that rate news, nothing. Okay, cool. Alright, what do we trust more, man? The gold buys or the indices sells? Gold buy. I think I'd rather lose on gold. Yeah, these might be too late to even try to chase. You could still try the live OB on this. You could still try this. Not a terrible trade. Purge these lows. Looking at like a 1 to 3.5. I'm gonna take gold personally. I'm gonna enter in gold here off my idea. I'd rather lose on gold, I think, than shorting indices again. I'm gonna look for that 15-minute lone candle up here. I'm in that on MGC. I think Nasdaq's probably gonna get away from me. Either that or just not work if these don't sell off from here. So I'd rather just not lose on these. I'd rather lose on the gold trade. I think gold is overall better setup. I also like the dollar index lower. So yeah, I'm chilling in gold here. And we have that the 1 minute live will be here and everything. Yeah, this is I'd rather lose on this setup. Let me just hide this real quick, so I'm gonna screenshot this. Just highlight some notes up here. I'd rather lose on this. I'd much rather lose on this. A 3-minute too. Okay. Yeah, that's my trade for the day. I just don't want to fight the indices, and I just don't think I'm gonna get the buy setup that I want. And these could still fall. I'd rather just see what this brings in Asian session though. Let me just change this real quick. You're an ES? Yeah, ES. I don't know, man. I don't have anything against this setup on a technical standpoint. Again, we still have some nice liquidity. I mean, even this, like, we had this little pre-market sweep. Again, I would really like to see us take out pre-market lows. Again, the same thing could still happen on gold. You could still take out pre-market lows. And I did plan my risk on gold for that, so I'm not full risk on gold in terms of, like, my max, but I am in there for, like, 180. So it's not that I dislike this. I don't know, man. I just would feel annoyed. Like, I'm more annoyed that I lost again on an indices short. So I'm just trying to avoid the psychological pain for myself. Or just chilling at break even. Remember, guys, I always ask myself, like, what's gonna give me the least regret, right? If I'm gonna enter a position and I'm between two pairs, I'm gonna take the one that I'm having the least regret about. So if I lose on gold, like, I'm just gonna brush that off. It's cool, haven't taken a lot of trades on gold recently. I would rather be buying gold than selling NASDAQ and ES. So for me, it's just easier to justify the loss. And again, if this does lose and fail in this area, I would be willing to retry if we print something below here. Still, right? And I manage my risk in a way which I'm prepared if that does happen. So. Oil, yeah, like I said, oil looked real good on that last spike down. I just didn't think the risk to reward was here on this. Unless you got it on that spike down, by the time we saw it here, you know, you would have had to risk like this. And then I just don't think the targets are there. Like, yeah, you could take out this high. Probably will take out this high. This is a 1 to 3. That's just not in my scope. And again, you could get that push into 65s. It's kind of what you would need to justify the trade. So again, like I said, it'd be a better personal account trade. As on a personal account, you could just look for like the entire inefficiency fill. So you could target all the way up here on just the swing side. If you can manage it that way, book partials up here, then just try to hold. It becomes a way more appealing trade. Just like in the compression, like, it was just too risky to take to the next area. PMI in 3 minutes. Yeah, I mean, we'll see what that does. I don't generally care about PMI, but it might immediately stop me out on gold for sure. What do you usually target for TPs? I generally will not take a trade if it's below a 1 to 3. Typically, I want my targets to at least be I want it to be higher than a 1 to 3, right? Because sometimes you cut a trade early, so I'm really looking for like 1 to 3.5 to 1 to 4. Right, because especially with my win rate, like my win rate fluctuates between, if I'm really off my game, like as low as like 25%. On average, like 35%. Right, if I'm killing it, it could be as high as 45, 50%. Right, some weeks you might even trade like 60%. You know, if you're taking like 2 out of 3 trades. You know, if you win 2 out of 3, that's like 66%. If you're having a really good week. So, because of my statistics, like I need that 1 to 3, 1 to 4 to, you know, achieve profits. So yeah, if something measures like a 1 to 2, I just won't take it. Like, just gotta move on. It's just not worth the monetary risk. You know, it's like even here on gold, like this gold, if this works out fully, it's like a 1 to 4. if it falls short, right, because it could just like spike these highs and not give me that full move. Even if it falls short, which again generally happens, especially on a prop firm too, like maybe it's not that it doesn't reach here, but it doesn't reach here before you have to get out. So even here is like a 1 to 3. So I'm like, okay, if we clear these highs, I get close to that 1 to 3. If we run, we get the nice 1 to 4, 1 to 5. So yeah, I can't take anything that's not a 1 to, and we're not in this. Anything that's 1 to 3.5. It was kind of a revenge trade. Yeah, those are the worst. The worst type of trades for sure. And gold really not. Oh, PMI just came out, so now we got a little spike up. Let's just see how PMI printed here. Because this is like a news-related move, I'm also gonna just adjust my stop now. I'm gonna reduce my stop to the recent low. This saves me a good amount here. It saves me about 40% of my stop. Let me just do that real quick. Because I don't trust news moves like that. This could easily erase and now just take us out, and I'd rather have the reduced loss. And I can re-enter the trade if it resets up. But see how it's already like just coming down? I don't like when news does shit like this. So yeah, we might just be out right here for a small loss. Free break lower. My stop loss is like more like the close of this candle here. So I saved about half my stop by doing that. I just generally don't trust these news candles, especially like PMI. Like PMI is not really news that I generally care for, so if this fades off, I just don't want to be in it. Again, you could always re-enter your trade, especially if you save on the stop loss. You could always re-enter it. S&P gapped down too, so did Nasdaq. We'll see what becomes of this here. I should have put more trust in these external graphs. That's what I'm saying. So like I should have trusted this more. But again, we didn't really get any execution models up here. And the inversion ultimately is playing out, but the only thing we had was this 5-minute ES, and I still stand by that that's not the most beautiful representation of what we want. It's like a B. It's not terrible, but it's not great. Alright, gold is still holding bullish on this candle. We do have reduced risk here. I'm gonna just note that on the screen as well. Reduced risk on stop. Alright, the plan for this is if we do run super clean above these highs, right, meaning that we get no pullback, we run super clean above here, we're gonna go break even. We won't wait for a pullback, we'll go break even if we clear these highs, as long as we close above it super clean. Obviously this is our target up here. If you guys don't know, I don't use set TPs. I do not use set TPs. I do not have a set target here. This is just what we're looking for visually, and again, to justify our risk to reward. By the time we push up to the target, what I'll normally do is just kind of... There's a couple of things. For how many contracts I have, I'm probably just going to put my stop probably about where current price is now, so I'll lock in a certain amount of money. Typically, I'll use like lower time frame structure to format that out. But I will not just exit my trade because the area that I'm looking for is hit. I will try to milk it for more. We're also early in the day. It's only 10 a.m. right now, so again, if this gets some legs behind it, I don't want to be out. I try to ride it into the end of the day as much as I can. So, depending on what we do here in these next couple of minutes, because we are still in the first 5 minutes of the hour, we could turn around, but if we run smooth, we'll reduce our risk and we'll probably wrap up our day. I mean, S&P and NASDAQ likely don't do anything that we care for here. I think our idea early on was right. Again, like the range-bound day where you push externally. Again, now you come for these pre-market lows, yesterday's afternoon low. Again, you maybe even take out some of those long candles, but I think you probably end up closing back up here. That's just my suspicion. Alright, see how these next candles work out on gold. We'll manage our position. Then we'll move on from there. You have a 2-clap rule on your 50k. I usually plan my risk for 2 or 3 trades at the most. So whether I take again, it's always dependent on what you're risking. So for me on a 50k account, typically my max risk for a day. I mean, on a fresh account, ideally you probably only want to risk like 250, 300 on the day, because you only really have like $2,000 of drawdown, so you probably don't want to be risking like $500 first day. So it depends on where you are in the account, but on a fresh account, yeah, I'm probably risking like $300 max on the day. I'm probably splitting that risk up between $250 trades. Again, give or take. There's probably no way I could do a third trade on that type of risk. Now, if I have a little bit of a buffer, and when I say a little bit, I mean like $500, $600, $700, that's already a good enough buffer. If I have a buffer above $500, then my max risk becomes $500. In which case, the way that I usually break that up is I'll do like 200, 200, 100, or 200, 150, 150. It really just depends on how the risk works out with the setup. Because if you guys know anything about like doing math on setups, like I have a variable change, right? So it's like this setup was like 180-ish in risk for me, I believe, before I moved my stop loss. Right, so that's like 200. I can't add another contract because I'll go over the 200, and removing a contract would have me too far from 200, so I just try to get close. But yeah, generally I plan for 2. If I feel like the market can still have another setup, yeah, I might reduce my risk on the second trade and just try to sneak a third in. So I wouldn't say I have a 2-clap rule. It's more like basically you should just ask yourself as a trader, right? What's the most I am willing to lose in a day, right? And then what's the most trades I can give myself in a day? For me, like my limits are again like this. Like my limits are like between $400 and $500 and between 2 and 3 trades per day. So like you might have different rules about this. We're getting that very nice clean move, by the way, to the upside on gold. So fantastic to see. Shout out to everybody in that. So you just gotta answer these 2 questions for yourself and then just set a limit. You should set this up based on how many signals your strategy generally produces in a day. The way that I trade with 5-minute and 15-minute execution models, we're not producing like 5, 6, 7, 8 setups per day. So I can limit myself at 2 or 3. But yeah, just answer these questions for yourself and then just divide your risk up. So it's like, again, if you're doing $400 and you're looking to take 2 or 3 trades per day, that means your risk per trade is like $200. And then whatever the contracts are that allow you to do that, Super simple. Alright, we're getting this beautiful move up here. Alright, we're just gonna go break even on this, just remove our risk. I mean, we haven't broken above yet, but if this shit comes back, we don't want to be in it. So, beautiful move Beautiful move. We'll see if we can get out with some profits now that we have no risk. S&P and NASDAQ were nice too, man. I mean, again, we had the right idea. Again, the right read on the market. But I'm in on gold, so I'm getting paid either which way. We don't need to chase everything around. And I still stand by this. I still stand by the fact that I was more comfortable with this trade. Even though they all worked out, I'm not going to sit here and tell you guys, yeah, I called all three. It's not true. Let's see, do we have that? Oh, this is like behind. This have volume. This had it on the 3 minute. We had it on. We had the 1 minute volume, right? Yeah, we did. Yeah, that's why I tell you guys, like, my edge was built. Edge was built on the CFD charts. We did have the 3 minute close, which is, generally speaking, just like the better time frame anyway. S&P catching some bids there, huh? See, now we've taken out these pre-market lows. Are we gonna still play the buy side here? Oh man, this didn't confirm. I probably wouldn't chase this anyway, but I'm curious now if we refill this 15-minute wick. If we take out this other low, I would be really interested in taking that as a buy. I'm not gonna play off that quick little spike. Close 1 of 2 contracts on ES. Okay, beautiful. Yeah, beautiful TP. I mean, you're getting these bounce backs now, so that oil continues to push too. It's gold's just chilling up here now. Hopefully we get this continuation move. Again, we're looking for that 15-minute lone candle, which is this. Like, this is not even the nicest lone candle, honestly. This is just what the indicator's picking up. But we do have to be careful. Like I said, we had to remove our risk, because us just taking these high, if we stay range bound today, we're not going to get much more here. We'll be lucky if we break above here if we're going to stay range bound. Kind of just like what NASDAQ and S&P are doing. Like, these are now kind of bouncing off the bottom side of the range. It's like, sometimes you gotta just scale off on that quick move. Lock in some money. Let me see. $500 max. Loss, 4 trade attempts. I'm risking 600 on a 150k account, which is like 0.4% of the account. Yes and no. You only have $4,500, so technically you're risking. You're risking a decent amount. You're risking like 15% maybe. Yeah, just under 15%. Like 4,500 divided by 600, you're giving yourself a 7, technically an 8. We'll call it 7 though, because you're probably not going to recover from 7. So you're giving yourself 7 losses in a row. It's not bad. You could definitely hit a very unlucky streak doing that. Like, that's not impossible. It's actually probably more probable than you think if you're risking 600 on every trade. If you don't have any sort of rule where you're reducing your risk, so like if you're counter trend and you're not reducing your risk, if you take a loss and you're not reducing your risk, then it could be very easy to catch that 7 loss streak. So just be careful with that. You need something else to extend that. 3378 Nico, by the way. This is where my one contra. Yeah, I'm selling. I wouldn't be surprised, man, if it taps you out. I mean, the S&P just built up more liquidity, so this could still run lower because you really didn't grab anything here. But Nasdaq definitely took that pre-market low, which I told you is like you just can't trust these pre-market lows, man. Like, this is the type of shit the market will do. It'll purge one side, purge the other side. Now you either get like the continuation where, you know, since you kind of like double purged, you'll continue in the direction that you double purged, or you just get the range bound day, and this just does some like bullshit like this where you don't really accomplish anything and you're not rewarded for holding, right? Sometimes like just capturing that first move is all you get. Like if you get that exit, you know, maybe not point perfect, but you get that exit down here, it's like, you know, maybe you do hold all day, but this just does this, where like, you know, it pushes down, it pushes up, pushes down, pushes up. And like by the time you close at the end of the day, it's like you really didn't get any better of an exit, and all you did was stress yourself out, like holding it. Like that could be like our position on gold. Like right now, like we might just, you know, it might just be wiser to take our money and run. You know, I'm not gonna do that because I'm not really happy with this move. I mean, it's nice, like we're definitely up more than what we risked, but you could fall into the trap where, yeah, this just goes sideways and you don't really get anything for your efforts. That's for the day? Okay, fair enough. Yeah, no, that's not bad then, because that's like 7 full losing days. Which again, man, could definitely happen. Not gonna be here and tell you it won't. Let me just update this in the Discord so people know that are not on stream that we went break even on this. We're still looking for this. Yep, I've had 7-day losing streaks. I think my longest like losing streak in days, not counting my Top Step live account, because I was trading in a way where I knew I was gonna hit my daily. Basically we were full leveraging that account. We were trading minis with $1,000 daily loss limit. I had made so much money off that account that I literally didn't care, and I was just trading very tight. It was sloppy, very sloppy trading. I knew what I was doing though. I knew that that was the game plan. And I think that was like a 14-day losing streak. And I think outside of that, I think like 13 days, like 12 days probably in a row. Again, it's not impossible, man. You're gonna have months, like you're gonna have a period of like, you know, weeks or even like a month and a half. Sometimes it goes 2 months where you're just off your game. And it could be because stuff's going on in your real life. It could be because you're just out of tune with the market. Again, like the market's running in a session that you don't trade, and you're chasing. Like there's all sorts of shit that could happen, and it's usually a combination of all of that. It's like you're stressed out in your personal life. The markets are moving at like weird times. So you're all flustered, and you just fall into that trap. And it's gonna happen. Nobody that trades full time can avoid that. It's just impossible. You're gonna have weeks and months like that. And again, on the other side of the pendulum, right, you're gonna have 2-3 months where like nobody could tell you anything, right? Just all your trades are just hitting back to back, TP smash and making a bunch of money. It's, you know, it's equilibrium. It's balance. All right, trade running. Pretty good here. We're getting kind of into the end of the session, So I would like to do something here in terms of management. What it is to... yeah, we're running at above that 1 to 3, right? Almost that 1 to 3. Yeah, we might take a contract off and hold the rest. I'm gonna give this like another 5-10 minutes, so then we'll give the final okay on what we're doing here. Kinda wish we had an entry from the lone candle, because kinda needed the lone candle play, but it's alright. Just wasn't anyone there. Just broke a 5-day losing streak, yeah. That's fantastic, honestly. Be the start of a 5-day winning streak now. Back when I first started, I remember losing for like a whole month straight. Yeah, it doesn't really count though. Like, you should like give yourself leniency in the first year or two. Like, nobody expects you to have like good results in the first year or two. Like I'm sure some of my worst days and like worst trades and like worst like losing streaks are all in the first year or two. But I wasn't even using the system I'm using now. Like, there's just like, I would never count that data as like relevant to my performance today. I also wasn't trading for myself, I was also just copying other people. Much of like what some of you guys are doing here. And you can't really count your results from copying somebody else. That's something that a lot of people that like take signals fall victim to, because like it's very easy to like look at somebody else's chart and be like, yeah, I agree with that, and then you take the trade and then you make money. And then the human mind will be like, yes, I understand what I'm doing. But the real reality of that is that you didn't do anything, because your idea came from somewhere else. Like you can tell yourself that you recognized it, but you weren't the person that recognized it. So you kind of like if somebody sends you a chart and you say, yeah, I see the same thing. It's hard to understand that if you would have seen that same thing without their perspective, right? If you guys have ever seen the movie Inception, it's kind of like that, right? Like, you can't really incept an idea into somebody's head. It's like when they say, don't think of pink elephants, and then you think of pink elephants. It's like if I send you a chart with a buy setup, and you say, oh yeah, I agree with this. That same subconscious thing is happening, where it's easier for you to see the setup because somebody is showing you it. Whereas if I didn't show you that and told you to mark up the chart, what's the probability that you would have, again, marked up the same thing? It's pretty low. It's pretty low. And a lot of people confuse that in their like results, because again, the human mind will highlight that. The human mind is like built to trick you into that false sense of confidence. So it's what I tell people all the time is like, again, even people like in my community or any community is like, the best thing you could ever do is mark up your charts before whoever you're watching on the live stream goes live. Because the second they go live, you're not in control of your brain anymore. Again, some people are. Some people are like, nah, I just don't see that shit. And again, that's just because you're at a level where you could start discerning. Many people find great trouble in that, so don't feel bad, man. And don't confuse your results with somebody else's. Alright, still really nothing happening here. S&P and NASDAQ kind of bounced back. Gold's still sitting nicely, so we're chilling here. I like it. You blame me for that losing? There you go. That's the way to do it, yep. Shift the blame to me. No problem. My logic, if it took me 5 years to get an engineering degree, I can give myself some grace in learning a new trade and or a skill. Yeah, hell yeah. I mean, shit, it took me about 5 years. It took me 2.5, 3 years to find the strategy that I knew was the one that I wanted to master. Then it took me like another year to understand it at a level that was producing profitability. And then it took me like another year to make my money back. So, yeah, you chop that all up and it's about 5.5 years. Alright, we'll give this one more 5-minute candle, and then we'll make some adjustments to our trade. Maybe pay ourselves, and then we'll probably walk away. Walk away with a winning day, man. Just out of curiosity, who's rocking in this gold trade with me? I mean, just a couple people on here. Let me know if you guys are rocking with me in this trade. Again, that's your decision based off my work. But curious who all is riding this with me. Took a buy yesterday on gold after LC was swept. Entered on SPX this AM pre-market. Fair enough. Gold actually had some really, gold, just beautiful on multiple time frames. Again, yesterday the buy was beautiful after the sweep of the lone candle. We were looking at this yesterday too. I hesitated and didn't take the trade just because none of my execution models hit, so again, I didn't benefit from that analysis, but many people did. And then there's a couple other things that I did too. Captured this 5-minute lone candle. The indicator refuses to pick up because it's a doji, but also not a bad play with a scalp to the buy side. The thing that's super nice about this is this also has like a live OB. The annoying thing about this is the risk, because of the candle that formed, is super tough. Because again, you really could only take this after seeing the sweep and the close of this candle, so like, you know, everyone would draw this as like, oh, you just take your trade like this. Like, you're not catching that. I'm sorry. Like, unless you're anticipating this, and again, entering with the anticipation of it holding, you're not catching that. So reality is like, either you enter right at the close, or you maybe grab this pullback here, maybe. And then this becomes a different trade, right? Because again, like, what are you targeting here? I mean, again, like, you can maybe target like this high. Again, I probably would have been targeting what we're targeting today, honestly, but we'll say this high maybe. Even if you're looking at that risk to reward, like 1 to 5.2 is tough. I'm not taking that. Again, like, maybe you run the candle close, you could do that, and again, it works out as like a 1 to 3. But yeah, kind of just tough to take it there. And again, all of that gets reswept anyway this morning, so it's like practically we got the same entry, because if you look, our entry is at that same level, but we didn't have to deal with all of this bullshit. So we kind of win this morning in the sense that, you know, the Asian session people, unless they exited, really didn't benefit from that price action. But yeah, beautiful setups, man. I mean, that people definitely could have taken. Alright, moving in at 10:30 here. Gold's still moving up. You know what I think I'm going to do? I think we're just going to trail the full position here. We're going to try to be a little greedy. I think we're just gonna trail to here. Instead of me taking a contract, so if I took a contract off, I probably would have only moved my stop loss to here. I'm gonna just leave the contract on and put my stop loss here instead. So that'll net me similar results. But also, if this continues to run, then I'll have the benefit of having both contracts still open. So that's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna run it below this 1 minute candle. And that'll be our play. So on futures, again, same thing. You want to just run to here. So 33, call it 3383, 3384, give or take. Yeah. So this is gonna be in profit stops. Alright, so yeah, we're gonna just trail this and chill. Trail it and chill. How do I partial out? So partialing out for me depends on how many contracts I have on. In this situation, I have 2 contracts, and I really dislike having only 1 contract open. So in this case, I don't partial out, I'll just trail my stop loss, and it'll take me out of both contracts. So, but normally if I had more contracts on this, if I had like 3, 4, or 5 contracts on this, like micro contracts, what I probably would have done is as we push up into my targets, right, so as we break structure here, right, so as we kind of push up here, hit our targets, I would take off 30% of my position, between 30 and 50%. So again, on, like, let's say we had 5 contracts, I would take 2 contracts off, leave 3 contracts on. If I had 4 contracts, I would take 2 contracts off, leave 2 contracts on. So one of those examples is like taking 30%, the other example is taking 50. It just depends on how many you initially have. And then I would just trail. Just again, continue moving my stop loss up below 1 minute structure and just trailing it out to the end of the day. I usually only take partials once though. So I'll close that 30 to 50% and then I'll just look to see if I can milk the trade for as much as I can. How can you set up the new indicator? I will repaste the link in the Discord for you, bro. And then you'll just can add it to your chart. And if you have problems with that, just ask me. I don't know if I can say this on stream. All I'm gonna say is that I have people potentially prospecting me for my indicator. I'm still going to retain ownership over it, so I don't think that you guys would have to stop using it, but yeah, just as much as I can say. So yeah, just DM me, or not DM me, but just post in the Discord and remind me if I don't do it after stream. I'm still using the old one with the arrows. Okay, yeah, then yeah, I'll redrop the link for you. All right, yeah, gold moving nicely here. Again, we're gonna just trail this. Our TP is going to get hits, but again, we don't have a set target, so we're going to let this continue to run today. Let me just delete some of these lines. If we get lucky, we get a push into end of day, up into these highs. If we're lucky. If we continue to run all day. Again, it's still early, it's 10:30, so if we get lucky, we're looking at a move up into here. Nice 1 to 8 for the day. Fucking gorgeous. If not, I mean, we're gonna have a nice 1 to 4, 1 to 5 at the least. But yeah, family, that's all I got for y'all. So if you guys have questions, comments, concerns, anything you want to throw in chat, thank yous. Enjoy your days. Goodbyes. This session sucked. I hate it. Whatever you want to say. It's cool with me. But yeah, love and appreciate y'all, man. I'm gonna bump the music up. If there's any questions, I'll address them before getting off. But if not, I truly hope you all enjoy the rest of your day. It's your boy Skag. Enjoy the music.
Whoa.